Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and there is a lot going on out there, so I'm going to get it going right here. Let me take the glasses off. I think I can see better. Well, I don't know about that. Okay, so the market kind of did a reversal, and you can see that Bitcoin is up to 37,500 right now, and everything's kind of up. And the stupid, and I do mean stupid, reason that things are up is because one man, Elon Musk, came out and said this: Tesla will resume accepting Bitcoin as payment once the cryptocurrency's power-hungry miners go halfway green, CEO Elon Musk tweeted on Sunday. So because he made a concession, there's no telling what kind of pressure that he's been under from all these money people that are behind Bitcoin to come out and say something positive about Bitcoin so the market is not hurt. He came out and said this. I still stand by my position, which is if Bitcoin has a problem, why not address the problem and use something? Why use Bitcoin? If it has a problem and other digital assets don't have that problem, that other digital assets do not have an energy problem, XRP, ADA, Algo, a lot of them don't have those problems. Why are we even fooling with proof of work that does not work? Well, okay. Now, I did some researching yesterday. First, I want to show you this. This is Ethereum when they did the Ethereum pre-sale. This is how the supply was allocated at inception. You'll see that those the initial distribution. Ethereum Foundation retained this amount of the distribution for operational costs. In other words, for the common enterprise. And then, but anyway, there's a breakdown of everything. Okay. Well, then I went and I found another one of these absurd clips that really. See, this was Jay Clayton, and then I'll play you a clip from Joseph Lubin, one of the co-founders of Ethereum, and then you'll see a clip from Gary Gensler himself.
But there are other altcoins out there. There is Ether, for example. There is Ripple. Is Ether a security?
So, Bob, I'm not going to comment on specific crypto assets and whether they are a security or are not a security, but you captured the definition very well. Now, am I giving you my money for you to go off in a venture, or I'm relying on your efforts and the efforts of your colleagues?
In order to fund the project, we conducted a sale. We sold the token Ether for Bitcoin, and all of the receipts, 9,000 different receipts, were actually stored in a decentralized way on the Bitcoin blockchain.
This is why I've earlier this year said I think that most of them were. I think Ether, when it was done in 2014, would pass this test. When I say pass, it means it's a security. Okay,
so a lot of people's credibility on the line out there, and they know it. Okay, then I wanted to play you this clip. I think one of the, I said it here, I think one of the good guys and honest guys in this space is Charles Hoskinson. I think he left Ethereum because he had a problem with the way things were being done. Specifically, I think he had a problem with the way the pre-sale was going to be done. I want you to listen. This is him talking on Anthony Pompliano's show about what was going on during that the Ethereum funding, the whole conversation. Listen.
Developer open source factions, the other was kind of the business arm. So in the business arm, there was Amir and Mihai and Anthony and Joe Lubin. And on the developer side, it was Jeff Wiltshire and Gavin and Vitalik. And I was kind of in the middle where I was sufficiently technical I could talk to them, and I had kind of enough business sense where I could talk to the business arm. So I tried to keep everything together, and we had to make kind of a philosophical decision about what to do with the project. And we called it the crypto Google or the crypto Mozilla question. So basically, Do we create a for-profit, take some VC money, go build Ethereum, and then release it like Ripple? Or do we go and do an ICO like Mastercoin from a not-for-profit organization? So I made a very strong argument for crypto Google. I felt that if there weren't golden handcuffs and financial incentives, kind of all the founders were scattered to the wind the minute that we became successful, and the project wouldn't have right governance. And there was a high probability we just spend all the money and it wouldn't work out so well. And initially, everybody was on board with that. It was an 8-0 vote, so no dissent. But it didn't sit right with Vitalik, and little by little he started thinking about it. The project kept getting bigger, and by June of 2014, there were like 100 people that were doing various things. There was like 1,000 people in the Skype group, so it was just too big. So we revisited that decision, and Vitalik decided unilaterally to go to Crypto Mozilla. And shortly thereafter, like the whole business arm got devastated. So Amir and I left that day. We got pushed out. And then shortly after, Joe started Consensus and did his thing. Anthony left and started Decentral. And then the developers started getting gutted. So Gavin created FDev and eventually Parity Tech. And then Jeff started doing video games. So no one actually stayed. So we were both right. He created a tremendously successful product. And I was right in that there wasn't an incentive to stay, but I guess it didn't matter regardless.
What would have happened to Ethereum if you had gone with the corporate structure and everyone had stayed?
What we were proposing was that we would own a for-profit Swiss entity. It was called Ethereum Switzerland GmbH. And we would get some VC money, centralize the project there, build the protocol, and then release the protocol under a foundation and do the ICO with a finished product.
Okay, and then here's part 2 of this same conversation.
I felt the risk to investors was significantly lower. And second, if we were going to have existential problems, they would occur under the for-profit structure, under smart money. So we would have less risk of lawsuits and these types of things. So had we launched it, we probably would have looked a lot like Ripple in that respect. The only difference being that there would have been an ICO still, and it would have been done from a foundation. And there also would have been a clear separation of concerns between the founders and the custodians who do the ICO. They would have been a separate board that was truly independent. So probably Consensus and Decentral would have been rolled up into one entity that we own. So maybe that would have been a better model, or maybe the model that they chose was better. It's one of those what-if games that you don't really know.
Okay.
I felt the risk to investors.
Pause that. Okay. Then Riz XRP sent me this. This is just something, this doesn't really have to do with anything other than Brad Garlinghouse was replying about this. In my experience, the best founders develop a fighter mentality. Mark Zuckerberg was a fighter. Without that mentality, Facebook would never have reached its full potential. Here's what I saw over 13 years working with Zuck. One of Mark's first big fights was with his own board and exec team. They tried to convince him to sell the company to Yahoo for $1 billion in 2006. At the time, Facebook had 5 million users, all college, and was 2 years old. At the age of 22, Mark stood to gain $300 million personally. How could he say no? And then Brad Garlinghouse said, I remember it well. And Michael Arrington said, me too. So I wonder, I can't remember if Brad Garlinghouse was at Yahoo. I guess he probably was at that time. Then this is from Charles Hoskinson. He had tweeted this today. Look at this. This happened, and this is not an accident. This is a tweet that was sent out, and then I'll show you what he says. Didn't make our full interview, but Mike Novogratz is also on the list of smart people who remain shocked by Cardano's valuation. They have done something to create this weird cult. This is Mike Novogratz. And so things like Cardano, it shocks me, the valuation, and it shocks every smart developer I know. They have done something to create this weird cult. And then Charles Hoskinson says this, let me translate the billionaire speak for you guys. He's saying that he doesn't see a back door to get in at a favorable price or manipulate the market like the rest of the venture capital coins. Somehow fair, transparent, community-led cryptocurrencies are cults. I'll remember that, Mike. I mean, Charles Hoskinson could not have nailed this anymore. And the way I put this, I said, awesome, Charles. When the proof of work Bitcoin Ethereum marketing machine comes after you're doing something right. I smell the fear. That's exactly what this is. These guys are not dumb, folks. They are not dumb. They know exactly what they're doing. The only things technologically that make any sense or have made any sense are the Cardanos, the XRPs, the XLMs, the algos, the XDC. There's a handful of them. Those are the ones that make sense in terms of changing the financial world. Bitcoin served its purpose as getting people through the door, but technologically, it can't do much more than that, and they know it. They know it. They're talking their book, and they know it. And then you got this guy. Look at this. You can tell that they're terrified of what they know is coming, but they won't be terrified for long, because what they'll do is they'll sell out of Bitcoin and Ethereum proof of work, and they'll position themselves for what they know is coming. But to me, it's just sickening to listen to all this.
It's like Bitcoin is freedom. And that's something that took a while for people to understand. People were mired in this stupidity about transactions and number of transactions and speed of transactions. And that gave us 20 or 30 of these shit coins that are still so
Oh, yeah. None of that stuff matters.
stupid. Ethereum, Cardano, XRP. They're literally dog shit. They're so fucking stupid. They don't do anything. They're worthless. And you can draw direct.
They're the only ones that do anything.
From January 3rd, 2009 to El Salvador adopting Bitcoin as their monetary standard in 2021. That's a straight line. Everything else in between, every other shitcoin, every other personality, all the John McAfee's, et cetera, they're all meaningless.
We shall see. I think he's terrified. Now, I put together a little clip here. I said what I'm thinking when I hear the Looney Tune Bitcoin Maxi talk about shorting banks, replacing the dollar, the government and the powers that be being replaced by Bitcoin and only Bitcoin. It was never Bitcoin. XRP, Algo, XLM, ADA, and a handful of others. It was always going to be those, folks, and I'll show you why. This is John Deaton doing a great tweet right here that I agree with. I've owned Bitcoin since 2016. I've accepted the Gold 2.0 use case for Bitcoin since that time. I've carefully listened to the arguments of the Bitcoin maxis. I've come to the conclusion that most of them, not all, are full of shit and really only care about the price appreciation. And I said this, I think it's worse. Most, not all, especially the sophisticated investors that are pushing proof of work, know that it has a limited investment window and will push it until they know the game is coming to an end, then sell. They call it talking their book. I call it lying. This is exactly what I think it is. Now look, here, this is what the adults are doing. The IMF, when El Salvador announced that they're going to make Bitcoin legal tender, the powers that be, the people with the tanks and the guns, the ones that Brad Garlinghouse said will bring out the tanks and the guns before you let Bitcoin take over the financial system, those people. IMF concerned with El Salvador's monumental move toward Bitcoin adoption, and they're meeting with the El Salvador president or whoever it was. Then you got this, JP Morgan on El Salvador. JP Morgan, the Bitcoinization of El Salvador, why now, and what it means. But those moves may be complicated if this beginning of a broader trend among similarly situated smaller nations. How many times has my father, the official father of the digital asset investors, said, JP Morgan, nothing happens in the financial world without JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. And if you think these guys are going to build their companies around Bitcoin, not knowing who apparently the guy or the quote group of countries, terrorists, whoever it would be, that would be Satoshi Nakamoto, if you think JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs are going to be involved in building the new financial system around a digital asset, Bitcoin, with some anonymous guy that owns 1 to 10% of it, and nobody knows why he did it or where he is or what his intentions were. If you think they're going to do that, my igloo in South Georgia is still for sale. I'll build another igloo to sell also and throw it in with the first one in South Georgia. Okay, that is crazy. It's always been crazy. This is what's not crazy. This is that from Coining 203. This is that section of that World Economic Forum document they put out here in June 2021. They didn't put Bitcoin on here because they know Bitcoin's not what's going to change the game. Algorand, Cardano, CeeLo, XRPL, Solana, Stellar is what they put in here, not Bitcoin. And then you got this guy, Former Bank of England Governor Mark Carney, on the board at Stripe, one of the first investors in Stellar. He thought there was a risk of higher inflation would persist. These people know that there is a paradigm shift underway. They've been working on the paradigm shift for decades now. Bank of America, everyone knows the Fed will stop tapering as soon as the S&P drops 10%. Do you think that the powers that be, the Feds and all these central bankers, do you think they don't know about the catastrophic situation that we're in because of all the money printing and all? Do you think that they haven't done anything to plan for this? They know exactly what's happening, folks. They know exactly what's happening. They know exactly what Bitcoin is. I'll bet you they created Bitcoin. One country or a collection of countries. That's what I fully believe. Fed explores once in a century bid to remake the US dollar. Do you think this talk is going on and that they're talking about doing this with Bitcoin, which Max Kaiser is bragging about? Oh yeah, I can buy the governments. I'm a Bitcoin holder. I can buy the politicians. He's got a clip where he's actually saying, do you think that they're comfortable with that? Forget it, okay? Let me get this out of the way so I can finish this up. Come on. I don't know why that article popped up there. Oh, no. That's not what I wanted. Okay, well, let me go back to where I was. Not that. This. Jonathan D. sent me this. I wanted to show you this about Flare. The Flare claim period ended at 23:59:52 UTC on June 11th, 2021 with ledger index number . Any unclaimed Flare will be allocated to the F asset minting pools. Final numbers will be released this coming week. And then there was this clip by this Flare community from Naveen Gupta. This is from 2020, but I had never seen it.
Hi, thank you. So where do you see Flare sitting in the XRP community? And would you say it's a contender to Ethereum, and your answer to Ethereum?
So what I would say is, honestly, we are so live in such a dynamic world that there are no static answers, right? So whatever I will tell you is only true when t is equal to 0 for people who are scientifically oriented. But at t is equal to 1, in next 5 seconds, it may change, right? So all this is in a very early stage of formation, right? It's amorphous, markets are moving. They're really brilliant people who are working on it, who are trading, who are creating new ideas. And at early stages, there are no static positions. I think what I would say is all these are early stage experiments. That's the way you should think about it. That's the way you should learn about it. And as they grow scale, they have to prove themselves to earn your respect, earn your business, make a difference in your life with something that is not available today. And if they're able to do that, they will sustain. Otherwise, they will fade away. Right? I think I think I can answer only it in principle. And honestly, I don't know myself because of the same reason, because it's just so dynamic and so early stage of some of these things to come together. Right? And I'm not trying to evade your question, but
I thought that was a good answer. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. Tell your friends and family. Flare's